Okay, now whatever our output result is of the calculator, let's add a text element to display it, and let's give it some style as well, and let's name it display. And in display we have increased the font size to 70, and we have added some padding to it as well. And whatever result we are displaying, its value will be changing depending on what buttons the user has pressed and what is the result of them by applying the operations. So for that, let's save our result in a state. So here let's create a state, and inside state let's add a property display whose value is answer for temporary purposes. And now in our text element, instead of hard coding the result, we can just render the value of display from status as this dot state dot display inside curly braces. Now as we make changes to the value of display, we can see that that value is being displayed on the screen. Now let's make a custom method as well, and let's name it handle click, and this function will be called whenever a button is clicked. And before the name of this function I have used an underscore for following the convention of indicating custom methods, but this is optional. And whatever the button is clicked, we are passing it inside this function as button val, and inside this function we'll be using this dot set state, and whatever the button is clicked, we'll be setting the value of display as that temporarily. And now in our my button component we have to pass this function as well, and in touchable opacity as well, in on press we have to call that function. So in on press I have made an arrow function which has an empty input, and in output whatever handle click function has been passed will be calling that. And inside handle click we will be passing whatever the value of this button is, so that handle click knows what button has been pressed at the moment. Now inside calculator, wherever we are using my button, instead of just using value we have to pass the handle click as well. So handle click equals this dot underscore handle click, and do take note here that we are not putting the curved brackets after handle click, because doing that will call the function, but we do not want that. Instead we want the entire function object here as a property. We are passing it here. But when we are clicking on the 7 button, we are shown with an error that undefined is not an object evaluating this dot set state. From this we can infer that probably the set state function was not available to it, maybe because the context is not right. So to fix this, in line number 19 we have passed this dot handle click in handle click, in that although the local context of this is right, but because this function is called inside my from my button component, there the context of this would change, and that's why here while passing this we have to bind handle click by the context of the calculator. So here we have to write this dot handle click dot bind this. Now we can see that whenever we tap on this button, that button is being shown in the display as well. Now instead of updating the value to whatever button that has been clicked, we want that whatever button has been clicked, its value gets concatenated or added in the screen. Here we are not wanting to use arithmetic or mathematical addition at the moment, because let's say when we click 7 first, so there the display should be 7, and again when we press 7 we want to display 77 rather than 7 plus 7 14. So for this we will be using string concatenation. So in handle click function, let's save our current display's value in result as this dot state dot display, and inside result we will be concatenating whatever the button has been pressed, will be adding that value, and inside that we'll be setting the value of display as result. And now whatever handle click that we have used in button 7, we will duplicate it and we will add in rest of the buttons as well. So now we can see that whatever button I'm pressing, is being concatenated as a string.